A shift has already started around you, and you felt it before anyone could explain it. There was a moment, quiet, subtle, almost unnoticeable, when something inside you unlocked, and for the first time in your life, you did not step back, you stepped through. And the moment you did, someone's world shattered like glass, not because you attacked them, not because you fought, not because you raised your voice, but because you revealed a version of yourself they were never meant to see, a version that heaven has been preparing in silence for years, and silence for years. You didn't plan this moment, you didn't rehearse it, you didn't even expect it. It happened in an ordinary second, a conversation, a moment of pressure, a shift in the atmosphere, and suddenly, that quiet, hidden, refined part of you stepped forward, and they froze. Their breath disappeared. Something in their eyes said, "Who is this?" Because every time they thought they had you figured out, God kept another layer hidden, another strength concealed, another fire covered beneath your calm. They only ever saw the version of you that was learning, healing, watching. But they never saw the side that God formed in the storms you didn't talk about. They never saw your mind sharpen in the dark. They never saw your spirit rebuild after heartbreak. They never saw angels stand guard when you could barely stand yourself. They just saw the silence, never the transformation within it. And when that other side of you emerged, the confident one, the steady one, the spiritually awakened one, their spirit reacted before their mind did. Because there is something unmistakable about a person who has survived what was meant to destroy them. Something unmistakable about someone who carries wisdom that they didn't read from a book, but lived through in the dark. Your presence suddenly felt heavier. Your words carried weight. Your eyes held storms and sunrise at the same time. And in that moment, their soul realized, this isn't the same person I used to know. Have you ever noticed how people get uncomfortable when you stop shrinking? How the room gets quieter when you stop apologizing for your strength? How their energy shifts when you start speaking from a place of clarity instead of confusion? Be honest with yourself for a second. Do you feel like someone recently saw a side of you you didn't even know was visible? Does it feel like something in you has been waking up? Slowly, silently, but undeniably. Because this moment, this sudden reveal of your Diafe was not random. Heaven had been shaping it like a sculptor who works in shadows, chiseling away at everything that was never meant to stay. God kept you in refining fire until your spirit glowed beneath the ash. God walked you through storms that washed away every version of you that wasn't authentic. And now, your presence feels like a sunrise that breaks through heavy clouds. Beautiful, unexpected, unstoppable. Twist begins to form, tension shift, but here's the part no one talks about. When you reveal who you've become, you don't just shock the people around you. You expose the truth they've been hiding from themselves, because deep down, they weren't afraid of you. They were afraid that one day you would finally see who you really are and stop playing small so they could feel big. This isn't just transformation. This is spiritual reversal. The tables weren't turned, the truth was revealed. And once truth is seen, it cannot be unseen. Have you felt someone pull back from you recently? Not because you did anything wrong, but because your energy changed, because your silence felt different, because your presence felt stronger. That's not paranoia, that's spiritual recognition. When your other half feared, the stronger, wiser, awakened side, their spirit didn't just react, it recognized something holy inside you, a calling, a shift, a spiritual authority that they didn't think you would ever walk in. You weren't showing off. You weren't bragging. You weren't even trying to prove anything. You were simply being who God shaped you into, and that alone was enough to shake them. Because people are comfortable with the version of you that doubts itself, not the version that finally knows who they are. You have no idea how many people underestimated you because they only saw the battle, not the warrior who came out of it. They saw the tears, not the endurance. They saw the heartbreak, not the resurrection. They saw the quiet, not the rebirth. But God saw everything, and God hid everything until the time was right. And now that time has come. The part they saw, the one that made their jaw drop, wasn't just confidence. It was spiritual authority. It was inner awakening. It was the unlocking of something that had been dormant for years. And when truth unlocks, fear reveals itself. They weren't shocked by your strength. They were shocked because somewhere deep in their soul, they realized they never truly knew you at all. There came a moment, not long after that unveiling of your deeper self, when you noticed something strange, something you couldn't put into words at first. The atmosphere around certain people changed. Conversations felt heavier, spaces felt colder, their smiles felt thinner. Their energy felt unsettled. It wasn't anything they said out loud, it was everything they didn't say. They started watching you longer than usual, not with admiration, but with a quiet, unfamiliar fear. Not fear of what you might do, but fear of what you're becoming. Because when someone has been growing silently, their growth often becomes visible before they ever speak a word. Days before that moment, they were comfortable, relaxed, unbothered. But after you shifted, after that inner awakening leaked into your physical reality, their spirit registered something their mind couldn't explain. Your presence didn't feel predictable anymore. It didn't feel small. It didn't feel controllable. It felt different. It felt anointed. It felt like heaven was walking with you in a new way. And people who once underestimated, you are suddenly confronted with the truth that they may have misjudged someone heaven has been actively protecting. Have you felt that lately? Like certain people suddenly don't know how to act around you anymore, like they're unsure whether to approach you or step back from you. Does it feel like the atmosphere shifts before anyone opens their mouth? That's not accidental. It's spiritual. When your spirit rises, it brings clarity, not only to you, but to the people around you. Some become inspired by you. Others become intimidated, and a few become irritated without even understanding why, because elevation, true elevation, exposes motives. Your growth doesn't just reveal who you are, it exposes who they are. The insecure feel threatened, the jealous feel frightened, the pretenders feel exposed, the proud feel unsteady, and all of this happens because heaven decided it was time for your deeper self to step forward. It's like you walked into a room carrying a new light, a warm, golden, almost sacred glow, and without meaning to, your light made the shadows stretch. Shadows that were once hidden beneath polite words and fake smiles and casual conversations now appear longer, darker, clearer, not because you're attacking, not because you're judging, simply because illumination exposes everything that darkness tries to hide. Here's the twist that shocks most people. Your awakening didn't just change you, it changed the spiritual order around you. Certain people no longer have access to the version of you they were comfortable with. Certain energies can no longer sit close to you. Certain conversations can no longer touch you. But the time has been collapsed. Your heart dropped. Collapsed? 5 years? Why? The angel answered, because the world is shifting faster than the plans written for it, and you are required sooner. Not wanted, not preferred, required. Something is coming that demands your presence, your voice, your light, your insight, your spiritual maturity, and heaven refuses to wait until the world realizes your worth. So heaven opened the door early. The room is open. The objects have been revealed. The timeline has shifted. We'll reveal what this early activation means, what your assignment actually is, and what heaven is preparing to release into your life next. For a moment, the room grew completely still. No trembling floors, no shifting light, no whispers in the atmosphere, just stillness. The kind of stillness that only appears when heaven is preparing to reveal something that changes not just your life, but the spiritual landscape around you. The angel stepped closer, and with a tone that carried both warning and honor, they said, "There is one more thing you must understand about why this room opened ahead of time. You didn't speak, but your spirit leaned forward." And that's when the angel revealed the truth that your heart has felt for years but never fully understood. The angel raised their hand, and suddenly the room transformed again. The walls dissolved, the ceiling opened. Golden strands of light shot out in every direction, bending, weaving, crossing like living threads. Each thread represented a person, someone whose life would one day intersect with yours. Some were dim, some were bright, some flickered, some glowed as if they were calling out. The angel pointed toward the brightest strand and said, "Your life is tied to many others. and several of them are reaching critical turning points earlier than expected. If you do not rise now, they will not know where to go. A shock ran through your chest. This wasn't just about you. It never was. Your activation wasn't early because you were falling behind. It was early because others were accelerating, collapsing, stumbling, awakening. You are being summoned not for your own sake, but because heaven assigned people to your voice before you were even born. You're the lighthouse in their storm, and storms do not wait. Let me ask you gently, have you sensed lately that people keep coming to you for clarity, comfort, answers, or direction, even when you're struggling yourself? It's not coincidence, it's confirmation. Your influence is not something you step into, it's something the world pulls out of you when the timing is ripe. And that time is now. The angel's expression changed from gentle to serious. You felt the air tighten again. There is movement in the unseen realms. For months, perhaps even years, you have sensed pressure, heaviness, unusual dreams, or sudden waves of spiritual intensity. And then the angel said the words that explained everything. That pressure wasn't attack. It was awakening. Suddenly memories flooded your mind. The nights you couldn't sleep, the days your spirit felt uneasy, the moments you felt something was off but couldn't explain why. That wasn't fear. That was calibration. Heaven was fine-tuning you to carry more weight than you've ever carried before. Because now, with the room open, the map alive, the seal in your possession, your spiritual capacity has increased. What used to break you now builds you. What used to confuse you now speaks to you. What used to drain you now reveals your authority. You are not the version of yourself that walked into this building. You've been spiritually upgraded. As you stood there processing everything, you heard a sound click, not loud, not violent, but final. You turned and saw it. The door you walked through, the door that once felt heavy, unmovable, mysterious, was now closed, not locked, not blocked, but sealed with the same symbol that rests on the seal in your hands. You slowly looked back at the angel. They nodded. You were not meant to return to who you were. The season behind you has officially been sealed. Your breath caught. This was irreversible, permanent, a divine transition. The life you left cannot be reclaimed, not because it was bad, but because it was too small for who you've become. As you read this, do you feel a strange mixture of peace and trembling? A sense that something is ending and something else is rising inside you? That's not emotion, that's recognition. Recognition. The old chapter has closed. The new one has already begun. The angel extended their hand toward the golden opening at the far end of the room. And when you looked into it, you no longer saw confusion or questions or uncertainty. You saw clarity, a future shaped by divine timing. A path that responds to your footsteps, a realm where your voice carries weight, and a world that needs what's inside you more urgently than ever before. The angel spoke one last time, a step forward. Everything you lost, everything you questioned, everything you survived, it was shaping you for this moment. Walk into your assignment, not walk with fear, not walk with doubt, walk with certainty, because heaven already confirmed you before earth ever recognized you. Golden light descended and wrapped around you like a warm, living mantle. A blessing was spoken over you, not shouted, not dramatic, but deeply powerful. Let every hidden gift rise. Let every spiritual sense sharpen. Let every divine door open. Let protection surround you like a shield. Let your path illuminate before your feet. Let your new season begin. Your spirit felt it. Your heart recognized it. Your future responded to it. This isn't just a shift. This is activation. Heavenly Father, I pray for the one reading this right now. Strengthen them for the path they are stepping into. Surround them with clarity, protection, and divine guidance. Let every delay be replaced with acceleration. Let every closed door behind them stay sealed. And let every new opportunity rise at the perfect time. Cover them, guide them, guide them, guide them. Speak to them and walk with them into this new season. Amen. Sparkles, if this message spoke to your spirit and confirmed something deep inside you, comment below, I receive it.